Elizabeth Holmes.
I don't know. Is that the
Do you
segue?
like that? You like that segue?
It was forced, but it was good.
Yeah.
Maybe Elizabeth.
I was wondering where that was going. That could have went anywhere.
Like, maybe we were separated.
Yeah.
You and Elizabeth were separated at birth. You
Yeah,
guys don't look
yeah.
anything alike, though, so it's not possible.
You know what's funny though is, like you were telling me about, because this whole time, like, she's supposed to have been going to trial.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's been years, right? How many has it been? A couple years?
Yeah, it's been
2-3 years.
I don't know, but I think it's close to 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
And now she's finally going. I mean, and I remember I told you she was trying to say, like, she was trying to do like, wasn't that she was like a narcissist or something? She was trying to blame it on some kind of psychological problem, and they were like, it's
No.
like the court's not having that. We're not. You can't. Present
Well, I heard that she had some sort of like Me Too defense, that she was being
Well, no, now.
sexually manipulated by Sonny, her partner.
But that's what you said. That's what you said. That's her new defense.
Her new defense, right.
But you watched the documentaries on her, right? Like, there's so
I listened
many.
to the podcast. There was like a podcast.
Oh
like
yeah,
a
I've
6-part
listened
podcast.
to 3 documentaries. Some of them are short. Some are like 15 minutes, and then there's one that's like 45 minutes or so. Like, it's so over the top. Like, there are so many interviews with people that worked for her where she's coming to them and telling them, "You're going to do this," or "You're going to say," or "Stop putting those in," or any of these that are negative, we send them off and retest them. We obviously, like, she's running this whole scam. So I mean, if anybody doesn't know about the scam, is that she went to what, Berkeley, for like
I don't remember,
for like a year or something, or 2 semesters or whatever. I guess 2 semesters kind of is a year. So for like a year, she went to like Berkeley and dropped out because she was going to come up what she wanted to come up with. First, it started off as a patch that would constantly give you medication based on your blood. Like, it would constantly see, like, how much, let's say, insulin do you need, and constantly monitor and that sort of thing. And then it turned into, or any type of medication, really. And then it turned into, she wanted to come up with a machine that you, with just a pinprick of blood, it would do like 140 tests.
Right.
And it was small and compact. You could do it, and it would be in your local Walgreens, and you wouldn't need all these expensive tests. And so it would tell you what kind of cancer you had, or if you had, smallpox or whatever. So, and so she started this company called Theranos, and she immediately, like, she got like $1 million from like a neighbor or something. Then she got another investor, and then another one, and then she started doing some advertising, and then she did this. And next thing you know, she got into like some women's magazine, and next thing you know, she's getting in millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
And she had met a guy. She'd gone to China, I think, and met this guy, Sonny, who was Indian. Happened to meet him on some kind of a thing. Met him, and now he ended up coming to the United States and helping her open this company. Then they started dating. He's like, what, 20 or 30 years older than her?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
He's already a successful investor or something.
Right, and not in her league. Like, like to me, I thought I think she's super attractive. So, she's plain. Okay, she's plain, but I think she's not unattractive.
She's not unattractive, no.
So
she's not smoke show.
She's not. Look, in comparison to Sonny, she's a 10.
Yeah.
She's a dime piece compared
not
to
really.
Sonny.
I've seen uglier dudes than Sonny score way hotter chicks than her.
Well, he's also got like $20 million. He was worth
right.
Like
he
20
can do
million.
better for $20 million.
For $20 million, you think?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you want to just you just have to have him sign a contract. I'm just putting you on payroll.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway,
everybody does.
So so they end up starting this company. He comes in, and he's like a little tyrant. He was a little tyrant, supposedly, and he's threatening people, and they're signing non-disclosure agreements, and they're threatening lawsuits, but they started getting all these big names on the board. Because if you can say, hey, Bill Clinton is on the board,
and raise money easier.
Right. It's easier. Like, oh, well, how do I know this is for real? Well, Bill Clinton thinks it's for real. He's on our board of directors. Right.
Right. And one of the main problems was a lot of the money they were raising, they were spending a significant amount of the money on advertising and not actually making this thing work.
Well,
not actually on the product itself. They're spending their money getting their name out there and creating a big name in the media.
But they are still putting money into the problem. They're still dumping money into it, but you do understand that, like, the technology doesn't work. Like, you can't do what she's saying you can do.
Right.
Even the machines they finally came up with, out of 140 some odd tests, like, it could do like 18 tests. And even then, half of those were inaccurate.
They could do those from one drop of blood, right? One finger prick.
Right. And a lot of those, they were still sending off samples. A lot of them, they were taking full blood, vials and sending them off. Like, the whole purpose.
Right.
What they get? Did they get Walgreens for $140 million? Was that what?
Something
the
like
number?
that.
Was
Something like that.
outrageous.
Oh yeah, they hit Walgreens for a lot.
I mean, here's the thing too. Like, you're not even telling them what the technology is. Like, they're like, how does this work and that work? And they're like, she's like, it's proprietary. We can't discuss that. But we basically, and she'd give a very broad, basic explanation that kind of seems like it works if you don't really know what you're talking about. But if there's a biologist there or
there was even some lady, there was in the podcast I listened to, there was even just some lady who, lived by herself on a single income. And I guess she had like some retirement saved up, and she invested $100,000 of her own retirement into the company and lost it all.
Yeah, that's just left and right. Like that's what's just happening left and right. So then eventually it collapses. Eventually the whole thing collapses. Like, finally it comes down to it. We can't provide the machines. We don't have the machines. They can't do what we've been saying they can do. We can't get them. They don't. Even the ones we've come up with, they're like twice as big as the ones we've been showing you. They only do like 15 or 18 tests out of the 140.
Yeah.
It's just not working. And so the whole thing starts to collapse. And then there's an investigation. There's I forget who the big politician was.
I can't get past. I mean, you can't get past the fucking fake ass turtleneck and the voice.
Yeah, she starts
that weird voice.
She starts mimicking,
talking like a man.
What if she was mimicking? They said she
was trying to mimic Steve Jobs with the turtleneck. And Zuckerberg with the voice, and she kind of looks like Zuckerberg with the beady eyes.
She does that. So and every once in a while she would slip. Like, they have her on recordings where she slips for a second, and then she comes right back into it.
I wonder if she's going to change that for the trial, because you would think she'd be more likable and innocent, being like a girl, more feminine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And not trying to be like, "Hey guys, I'm innocent."
She's
taking it to trial.
Stupid.
Oh, they're picking the jury right now.
Oh yeah.
She's done. Like, I'll bet you they went to her and they offered her a plea of.
That's your cue, Ryan. What?
Yeah, he's got to fix. You can fix the camera.
What was I gonna say?
Oh yeah. I'll bet you.
I was gonna say that's the wrong one.
Yeah, bro. There's better pictures.
So they're picking.
Help her out.
So this is the Wall Street Journal article. Elizabeth Holmes Theranos trial pictures inside the courtroom saga. So they're picking the jury, and I heard that they're having a lot of trouble whittling down the jury because they're asking them, okay, what do you know? Do you know anything about Elizabeth Holmes? And a lot of them know about her story. Like, yeah, I know she wears turtlenecks and changes her voice. Okay, you're disqualified.
Right.
You know what I mean? They want to find an unbiased jury, and they're having trouble doing that because
that's every big case.
Everybody knows her story.
Well, I mean, look, you understand they probably went to her and offered her 20 years. That's probably what happened. They probably came to her and said, look.
Yeah, she's not going to do any time.
Huh?
I don't think she's
in her mind.
In her mind. And her husband, you know who the guy?
She's going to prison.
She just had a baby.
How much do you think she gets?
I think she gets 30 to 40 years.
Really?
It's a ton of. I mean, these are people's retirement funds. These are people. She's been lying. She lied for years.
Basically, like a Madoff.
She threatened worse than Madoff.
Yeah.
She's threatening.
Worse than Madoff?
People are leaving. People are saying, "This is what's happening. You're lying about this. These tests," and she's telling them, "We're going to sue you. We're going to one of the guys committed suicide.
Oh yeah, I remember
one
that.
guy that has to do a deposition. She's pressuring him to not say what he has to. If he's being honest, I have to explain that you're fudging all of these numbers. And so what happens is they put so much pressure on him. He's so afraid to testify, doesn't want to lie. He goes home and kills himself. He's an older. I think they were going to fire him too. I think he had been fired. They were going to fire him, and he was saying, like, if I tell the truth, she's going to ruin my life, and he just commits suicide. So,
and he was a lot older. And
right.
I remember his wife was. I remember that in the podcast. That was fucked up.
I mean, it's like this chick has been blatantly forging documents, forging test results, threatening anybody who dares to try and expose her.